Who created these 7? Bereshit, Rabbi Elazar started. Lift up your eyes on high and see who created these. Lift up your eyes to which place? To the place to which all look in anticipation. The opening of the eyes, Malchut of Rosh Arichanpin. Then you will know that this hidden Atik, to whom the question, who created these, applies. Who is he? He is the one called Me, Zat of Bina, the one who is called from the edge of the heaven above, and who is in possession of everything. And since the question lies in him, and he is concealed, he is called Me, as in a question. This is so because there are no questions above him, and this edge of the heaven, where questions are found, is called Me. Explanation. Rabbi Elazar explains the meaning of the creation of heaven and earth in the text of Bereshit. Heaven and earth are the whole of the 7 days of creation. They are Zon of Atzilut. Hence, why does it write Bara, created, which is Bina and not Atzilut? It should have said He'etzil, emanated. The Zohar says, who is the opening of the eyes? Malchut of Rosh Arichanpin of Atzilut is called the opening of the eyes, because the Sfira Chochma of the 10 Sfirot of Rosh is called Enaim. Also, there are only Keter Chochma in Rosh Arichanpin, and hence his Malchut is called the opening of the eyes, since by her opening, the Mochin of Chochma pour down from Rosh Arichanpin to all the Partzufim of Atzilut. This is why it was said, to the place to which all look in anticipation, since Mochin of Chochma is called Enaim. And there is no Mochin of Chochma in all the Partzufim of Atzilut, except by opening of the Malchut of Rosh Arichanpin. And there, in the opening of the eyes, in Malchut of Rosh Arichanpin, you will know how Bina created the Zon. Since the word bara, created, means lebar, in Aramaic, outside of, the degree of Atzilut. And since Bina herself went outside the degree of Rosh of Arichanpin, and thus became regarded as Bria in relation to Rosh of Arichanpin, she necessarily created the Zon as well. Hence, Zeranpin became Yetzirah, since what comes out of Bria is regarded as Yetzirah. And the Nukva became Asiyah, since all that comes out of Yetzirah is called Asiyah. However, they must not be compared to the actual Bia behind Parsa of Atzilut, because these Bina and Zon stand above Parsa in the world of Atzilut. Rather, it refers only to the Rosh of Arechanpin. Hence, there are two kinds of Bia in it. Separated Bia, which parted from Atzilut through the Parsa, which is the ground of the world of Atzilut, standing over them from above. Bia of the world of Atzilut itself, which are its Bina, Zaranpin, and Nukva. They are outside the Rosh of Arechanpin, and they are still Atzilut. But the Parsa inside the intestine of these Arechanpin, at the place of his Chazeh, stands over them from above. For this reason, they are separated from Rosh of Arechanpin and are considered Guf without a Rosh, meaning lacking Mochin of Chokhmah, which is called Rosh with respect to the world of Atzilut. This is because usually the world of Atzilut is regarded as Chokhmah of all four worlds, Abiyah. Hence, that which lacks Chokhmah is regarded as Guf without a Rosh. It was said that this hidden Atik, in whom there is a question, created these. In other words, Bina came out of the Rosh of Arechanpin by the Nukva that rose to Chokhmah of Arechanpin, and ended the Rosh of Arechanpin there, and thus parted into being Bria and Guf of Arechanpin, and was therefore divided into two Pchinot, Gar and Zat. The origin of Bina is the 10 Sfirot of direct light. Its nature is not to receive any Chokhmah, but only light of Chasadim. As it is written, for he desires mercy, and not Chokhmah. Thus, her exit to the Guf does not blemish her at all, since even when she is at the Rosh, she does not receive Chokhmah from him. But only light of Chasadim. For this reason, she is not lessened at all because of her position below Malchut of Rosh of Arechanpin. And now, too, she is completely regarded as Rosh, as though she never parted the Rosh of Arechanpin. And she is established in upper Abaveima that clothe Arechanpin from Peh to Chazeh.
ובחינה ב' זת דבינה שהן מהתקללות הזון.
The second Bchina, Zat of Bina, are from the Hitkalelut of Zon in Bina, who are the root of the Zon in Bina.
ולפיכך
Hence, they need illumination of Chokhmah for the Zon. For this reason, they were blemished by their presence in Guf of Arechanpin, which became devoid of Chokhmah. And they are considered Bria and Vak without a Rosh. It is said about them, Abba took Ima outside the Rosh of Arechanpin. They are called Yeshsut and clothe Arechanpin from Chazeh to Tabur. And their sons, Zon, clothe from Tabur of Arechanpin and below, through the end of the world of Atzilut. The parsa inside the intestine of Arechanpin stands at his chazeh, because she is the force of Malchut at the Rosh of Arechanpin, which brings Zat of Binah outside the Rosh, disrupting them from receiving Chokhmah. This is because even though this Masach stands at the pay of Rosh Arechanpin, it still does not act there in any way, since upper Abba Ve'ima, regarded as Gar of Binah, which are still considered Rosh Arechanpin, are standing there. It follows that only at the place of Chazeh, above Zat of Binah, the power of the Masach dominates, ejecting the Zat of Binah below it, outside of Rosh of Arechanpin. Thus, Gar of Binah is called the concealed Atik, since the Rosh of Arechanpin is called Atik, and since the Gar of Binah, who are from Peh of Arechanpin and below, are regarded as still standing at Rosh of Arechanpin. And they too are called Atik, like the Rosh of Arechanpin. However, because of their presence in the Guf of Arechanpin, they are called the concealed Atik. It was said that this concealed Atik, in whom there is a question, created these, meaning only the Zat of this concealed Atik, called Yeshsut, in whom there is a question, to receive the Zon into them by raising Man. This is so because these means ascent of Man, as in asking about the rains. And he says that only this hidden Zat of Atik, called Yeshsut, are poised for a question, to receive Man for extension of light of Chokhmah, since they are devoid of Chokhmah. Before that, they are regarded as Bria. Hence the Zon created those who are called these. And they too were created without a Rosh, like him, since the word created indicates a lack of Rosh with respect to Atzilut. And who is me? It is the Zat of Bina, which are poised for a question. They are called me. And the word created relates to them because they themselves became Bria. Due to the Parsa, et Chazeh of Arichanpin, which separates them from the illumination of Rosh of Arichanpin.
ומקצה השמיים למעלה, הכל עומד ברשותו.
It was said, from the edge of the heaven above, meaning that everything is in his possession. Zat of Bina, which are called Yeshut and are called me, are considered the edge of the heaven above. This is so because heaven is Ranpin, who receives only from Yeshut, who is called me. This is why me is called the edge of the heaven above, that everything is in his possession. Since the heaven and the earth, which are Zon, and the three lower worlds Bia, all receive from Yeshut, who is called me. Everything is in his possession. This is so because there are no questions above him. At this edge of the heaven, where questions are found, is called me. This means that there are no questions above Gar of Bina, in Upper Abba Ve'ima, since they do not receive man for extension of Chokhmah, as they are light of Chasadim, and are not devoid of Chokhmah. This is why they are not called me, as they are not considered the edge of the universe, at the edge of the heaven, for they do not need Zon, which need illumination of Chokhmah. And there is a question only in the Zat, which are Ishsut, to receive man from the Zon, and to rise to Rosh of Arichanpin, to receive illumination of Chokhmah for them. Hence they are considered the edge of the heaven above, because Zaranpin, who is called heaven, receives from them.
Number 8. And there is another one below, called Ma. What is the connection between one and the other? The first one, called Me, is hidden. There is a question in him. Since men questioned and researched to look and to know from degree to degree through the end of all the degrees, the Malchut, once he has arrived there, he is Ma, which means what in Hebrew? Meaning, what did you know? What did you observe? What did you research? After all, everything is as concealed as before. Explanation. When Nukva of Zer Anpin is Panim Bepanim, with Zer Anpin, Nukva is also called Ma, like Zer Anpin, and she is regarded as the edge of the heaven below, since she is the end of all the degrees and ends the Atzilut. It follows that Zer Anpin, who is called heaven, stands between Yeshut, who is called the edge of the heaven above, and Nukva, who is called the edge of the heaven below.
והאדם שאל וחקר להסתכל.
It was said, since man asked and researched to observe refers to the zivug of Abba ve'Ima called histaklut, looking of Abba ve'Ima at each other through their ascent to Rosh of Chanpin. At that time, the Binah returns to receive illumination of Chokhmah for the Zon. This is because while Yeshut, Zat of Binah, do not need illumination of Chokhmah for themselves, since in and of themselves, Zat of Binah are similar to their Gar, and do not need to receive Chokhmah. When Zon rise from Man to Yeshut, Yeshut awaken for them to rise to Rosh of Arichanpin and receive Chokhmah. However, Zon too do not rise from Man to Yeshut, except by raising of Man from the lower people to the Zon, in a way that the souls of people rise from Man to Zon. Then the Zon rise from Man to Yeshut, and a Yeshut rise to Arichanpin and become one partzuf with the upper Abba ve'Ima. At that time, Abba ve'Ima look at each other and extend Chokhmah for the Zon.
And since man asked, meaning that he raised Man and researched, meaning scrutinizing his actions to raise the Zon for Zivug Abba ve'Ima, to look so that Abba ve'Ima would look at each other and extend Chokhmah, and to know from degree to degree, through the end of all degrees, the Malchut, since the illumination of Chokhmah that is drawn through raising of Man and the Zivug is called knowing, or is called Chokhmah through Da'at, wisdom through knowledge. For Zon that raise for Man are regarded there as the Sephira Da'at for Abba ve'Ima, as they cause their zivug. Also, the zivug is called knowing, from the words, and the man knew his wife Eve. And to know means to extend mochin in da'at, from degree to degree, from da'at of the degree of Abba ve'Ima to the mochin of the degree of Zeranpin, through the end of all degrees, is from Zeranpin to the Nukva, who is called the end of all the degrees. This is so because Binah stands achor be'achor, back to back with the Chokhmah, for she is only Chasadim and returns to being panim bepanim, face to face with Chokhmah, only for Zon's need. Once he has arrived there, is Ma. When the Mochin has arrived there to Nukva de Zeranpin, the Nukva is called Ma, the bottom degree. The lower world, Malchut, is called Ma. It is written, "What does the Lord your God ask of you?" Do not pronounce it Ma, what, but Me'ah, 100. Since all the upper degrees in their wholeness, which are 50, are here in Malchut, Hence, she is called 100. Since her 50, kachabtum, each of which comprises 10, and Bina's 50 are 100. Thus, Bina is called Mi, which are 50, and Malchut is Ma, which is 100, since she also includes Bina's 50 within her. This is why he is called Ma, to indicate that the whole of the great wholeness of those mochin comes only once the mochin have arrived at the nukva. It was written, "What did you know? What did you observe? What did you research?" After all, everything is as concealed as before. Malchut is called Ma, because although the upper extension of Chokhmah extends through the upper degrees, Bina and Zera and Bin, she does not appear until she is completed here in Malchut, the place of the end of all the degrees, the end of the extension of everything. She stands revealed in illumination of Chokhmah, and even though she became more revealed than all, she is poised for the questions, what did you see? What did you know? As it is written, since you did not see any image. And even though the upper mochin have already been extended to her through raising man, and she was already completed with them, there is still a question in her, as Yeshut were prior to raising man. This is why it was said, "What did you know? What did you observe? What did you research?" After all, everything is as concealed as before, since after the raising of man and extension of the mochin, everything is still hidden in the nukva, as prior to the raising of man, which is still poised for questioning, meaning raising man. Thus, how do the lower ones help in raising man, and why were the mochin drawn to her, since they are not revealed at all? Do not pronounce it ma, what, but me'ah, 100. 100 blessings that the nukva gives to the lower ones. Accordingly, how is she still poised for questioning, and everything is hidden as before? There are two mochin de gadlut in the nukva, which are called first gadlut and second gadlut. In the first gadlut, only upper Abba ve'ima rise to Rosh de Arich Anpin and not Yeshut. And even though they became one partzuf, Yeshut still remained in Guf Arich Anpin, but rose to the place of Abba ve'ima as before, clothing from Peh to Chazeh de Arich Anpin. Hence, on the one hand, Yeshut became Rosh Arich Anpin, since they became one partzuf with upper Abba ve'ima that now stand at Rosh de Arich Anpin, and they also rose above Parsa de Chazeh de Arich Anpin, where the Rosh de Arich Anpin illuminates, as it was explained in Abba ve'ima themselves, who stood there prior to raising man. For this reason, they give complete mochin degar to the Zera Anpin, and the Zera Anpin to the Nukva, and the Nukva becomes 100 blessings, since through these Mochin the Zon rise to the place of Yirsut from prior to the raising of Man, from Chazeh to Tabor de Arich Anpin. It follows that the Nukva is in the place of Ima, and for this reason the Nukva becomes 100 like Ima, because 100 is in Ima, thousands is in Abba, and the lower one that rises to the upper one becomes like him. However, on the one hand, the Nukva is similar only to me, who is poised for a question like Yirsut prior to the raising of Man and extending of the Mochin due to her clothing of the place of Yirsut de Katnut from Chazeh to Tabor de Arich Anpin. Thus, she stands below the Parsa, inside the intestine of Arich Anpin, where the illumination of Rosh de Arich Anpin stops above this Parsa. Thus, in that respect, the Nukva did not gain the Mochin and Rosh Arich Anpin, for which all the raising of Man took place, and everything is as hidden as before, as prior to the raising of Man. However, in another respect, the Nukva gained being discerned as Ima because she rose to the place of Yirsut, which is called Ima, who became 100 blessings. For this reason, these Mochin are only regarded as Vak de Gadlut, since she cannot receive Rosh de Gadlut as she is below Parsa de Chazeh de Arich Anpin. However, her degree is now equal to Yirsut, while it is Vak prior to the raising of Man, when he stood from Chazeh to Tabor de Arich Anpin. This is a great Gadlut for the Nukva, but it is Vak de Gadlut. It is still missing Gar de Gadlut, and obtainment of Gar de Gadlut is called the second Gadlut of the Nukva. Now you will understand why Nukva is called Ma. In the first reason, he explains the upper Mochin that the Nukva obtained, which are called 100 blessings. This is why it was said, do not pronounce it Ma, what, but Me'ah, 100. By her ascent to the place of Yirsut through these Mochin. The second reason is that since she only rose to the place of Yirsut de Katnut, and she is poised for a question from Chazeh to Tabor de Arich Anpin, thus the Mochin, the Nukva, are completely similar to him as well, and Nukva becomes poised for a question too, meaning Vak without Gar. However, there is a great difference, because he is Vak of upper Abba ve'ima, Vak of Gadlut. Also, when it was said, what did you know, since everything is as hidden as before, it does not mean what it did before, as the Nukva was prior to raising Man, but rather as Yirsut were prior to raising Man. But the Nukva gained much by raising man, since now she received Ima 100 blessings, albeit they are Vak de Gadlut. Thus she is still poised for a question, as did Yirsut prior to raising of man.
Item 9. It is written about that, what shall I testify to you? To what shall I compare you, O daughter of Jerusalem? This is so because when the temple was ruined, a voice came out and said, what shall I testify to you? Meaning, to what shall I compare you? Meaning, I will admonish you with the Ma. Each day I testify to you from ancient days, as it is written, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today. To what shall I compare you? In that very way, I have crowned you with holy crowns, and I made you governor over the world. As it is written, is this the city of which they said the perfection of beauty? I have called you Jerusalem, which is built as a city that was put together. To what shall I liken you and comfort you? As you sit, so it is above, in the Jerusalem above. And just as now the holy people do not enter you in holy arrangements, I swear to you that I will not enter above until your armies enter within you below. This is your comfort, since I compare that degree to you, the Jerusalem above, the Malchut, in everything. Now that you are here, your shattering is as great as the sea. And if you say that you have no healing and cure, who will cure you? It is that uppermost hidden degree called me, by which everything exists, which is Bina. She will heal you and erect you. Explanation. The ruin of the temple was because Israel sinned in idol worship and did not wish to raise man for the zivug of Zon. Instead, they wished to extend the abundance for Sidra Achra, called other gods. This is why the zivug of Zon was separated, the 100 blessings from the Nukva were cancelled, and the temple was ruined. It is said, a voice comes out and says, what shall I testify to you, since each and every day, since the ancient days, I have testified for you. These Vak of Gadlut that the Nukva receives in Ma are called ancient days. As it is written, indeed, ask now concerning the first days, and from the edge of the heaven to the edge of the heaven. It is called so since they are Vak of Abba ve'Ima, because Yeshut is Zat of Abba ve'Ima, and the 7 days of Abba ve'Ima are the first to the 7 days of Zon. As it is written, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today. The meaning of Zivug Zon, which are called heaven and earth, is that the text cautions to keep and to maintain the zivug. If not, the text warns that you will surely perish quickly from the land. It is written, Ma, what shall I testify to you? I have warned in regard to those 100 blessings to keep them and to do them, and you broke them. This is why you will surely perish quickly from the land. Occurred in you.
It was said, to what shall I compare you? In that very way, I have crowned you with holy crowns and have made you governor over the world. I have called you Jerusalem, which is built as a city that was put together. It is so because in these 100 blessings that the Nukva receives from the Zeranpin in Zivug, Ma is in their ascent to Yeshsut, and Zeranpin becomes as Israel Saba, and the Nukva becomes as Tvuna. And at that time, her lights become 100 blessings, like the lights of Tvuna. It is written about it as a city that was put together. Since the Nukva, who is called city, conjoined with Tvuna, and the Nukva was discerned as Tvuna, and she received from there Mochin de Tvuna, which is called holy crowns. And then she is called the perfection of beauty, a joy to all the earth, and receives governance over the world. It was said, to what Ma shall I liken you and comfort you? As you are seated, such it is in Jerusalem above. In other words, because of the sin of Israel, that the temple was ruined and they were exiled from their land. By that, they inflicted separation upon the Nukva too, since her bottom 9 fell into the Klipot, and she returned to a point under the Yesod. And it was written, who will heal you? If the children of Israel repent and correct their actions, raising man to zon, then the upper mochin will once again be drawn to zon, and Nukva will rise again to Yeshsut, who is called Mi. And then you will have healing. From the edge of heaven, Mi is the edge of heaven above, Yeshsut. Ma is the edge of heaven below, Malchut. This is what Yaakov, Zeranpin, inherited, fastening from end to end, from the first end, Mi, to the last end, Ma. Being as he stands in the middle between Yeshsut and Malchut. And this is why it is written, who created these? Yeshsut, Mi, created Zeranpin in the Malchut. Ele, these. Explanation. He should have written from the beginning of heaven to the end of heaven. So why does he say from edge to edge? From end to end? Rather, it was said from Mi, the edge of heaven above, Yeshsut, poised for a question. He clothes from Chazeh to Tabur of Arichanpin, Ma, the Nukva, from prior to raising man, is the end of all the degrees from Chazeh of Zeranpin and below. and between them stands Yaakov, Zeir Anpin, who begins to clothe from the place of Tabur of Arich Anpin through the Nukva. And then he fastens from the end of me to the end of me, since the me ends at Tabur of Arich Anpin. And there Yaakov begins. In the Nukva, Ma stands at his end. However, the writing speaks of after the extension of Mochin to the Zon, as it is written, indeed, ask now concerning the first days, which then the Zon rise and receive the Mochin of Yirsut, called first days, that at that time the edge of the heaven below, Ma, the Nukva, rose and clothed the edge of the heaven above, me, Yeshsut, and both are in the very same place. This is why it is written, from the edge to the edge, since now both of them have become one edge of the heaven, since Zeir Anpin receives the first days, which are Vak from Israel Saba, Chagat Nehi, and the Nukva takes the Tvuna, Malchut of Bina, which is now at the edge of Zeir Anpin, called heaven. However, with respect to what precedes the Mochin, she is regarded as the head of the heaven. And there is another meaning. The heaven above is Israel Saba, who comprises the first 6 days, Chagat Nehi of Bina, and the edge of the heaven above is the Tvuna, Malchut of Bina. And the meaning of the words will be from the edge of Israel Saba to the edge of Zeir Anpin, who is called heaven below. The writing says about those Mochin, who created these? Because me is Yeshsut, who stands at the place of Bria of Arich Anpin, from Chazeh to Tabur, below Parsa, inside the intestine of Arich Anpin, where there the illumination of Rosh of Arich Anpin no longer reaches. And this is why it is considered Bria, meaning Bar, outside of Rosh of Arich Anpin. And hence, he is poised for a question. It follows that once Zon obtains these Mochin, which rise and clothe that me, and take his place from Chazeh to Tabur of Arich Anpin, being their Mochin too, are now discerned as only Bria of Arich Anpin. And it is written, who, me, created these, meaning the Zon took Mochin of Bria from the me.